Hello and welcome to Tête-à-Tête, France 24's flagship interview show. Our guest today is Leonid Volkov. He served as chief of staff of Alexei Navalny. He was the chairman of his anti-corruption foundation. In 2019, he decided to move to Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania, where he joins us from. Thank you very much.
Hello, and my pleasure talking to you.
Can you begin by recounting to our viewers what happened to you a month ago in Vilnius?
Well, I was attacked by someone with a hammer in the dark in front of my house. It was quite a severe attack, so I was been hammered about 15 times, mostly in my leg. Thanks God, the leg was not broken, so it already recovered, so I'm back to work. Unfortunately, they broke my hand also, and the recovery will take more time. But as you can see, I'm pretty much fine, and yeah, now talking to you from my office.
Okay, so you're doing better physically and also mentally, I assume.
Yes, so this was, of course, a very clear warning from Kremlin, and well, the idea of such a warning is, of course, to cause some type of mental panic, to make me have second thoughts about the work I'm doing. But of course, the only possible proper reaction to events like this is to keep working, and that's what I'm doing.
I imagine there's an investigation going on. Have the authorities in Lithuania found out who the perpetrator is and what his motivations were?
I cannot comment anything on the investigation. It's very clear for me that has been an order from Kremlin, and every evidence that I have shows this. I mean, they didn't try to steal anything from my car, or they didn't try to do anything but to cause me as much physical harm as possible. But otherwise, I know that there is a very strong police investigation on the way. I hope to receive some positive news soon, but as of now, there is no comment that I can provide, unfortunately.
Right. This happened a month after the death of Alexei Navalny in a Russian jail. You had spoken to the outlet Medusa a few hours before, and you had said that you feared such things. Had you received specific threats on your life?
If I would wish to count the threats I'm receiving, I would probably spend all the time doing so. There is a broad operation of all kinds of, Kremlin trolls, and not trolls, but persons who disseminate threats and hate speech against the leaders of opposition, and especially against those who work closely with Alexei Navalny. So there is every day someone promises that we will be killed, or that we will be somehow attacked, or I don't know, kidnapped and brought to Russia, to the Russian prison and stuff like that. So we definitely try not to pay too much attention to this. We have to keep working.
Since the attack, have you received new threats?
Yeah, it happens pretty much daily. They compare us to Leon Trotsky or something like this. Next time it will not be a hammer but an ice breaker or something like this.
Right. Obviously, some of the members of the Russian opposition have been struck by, we assume, Russia, at least those are the allegations, but through other means, like poison, for instance, first and foremost, of obviously Alexei Navalny. They didn't do it against you. Why do you think? Is this just a kind of last warning? Or why use a hammer?
I don't know. Maybe poison would be the next step or whatever. They have a broad scope of operations, but of course we have to keep in mind that now their operation as Europe is at least a little bit limited, when all the so-called Russian diplomats were expelled 2 years ago after the onset of full-scale war of aggression against Ukraine. Many European countries sent back home those Russian security forces operatives who pretended to be diplomats. And so recently their modus operandi is more focused on, like hiring locals to perform jobs. We can recall how, for instance, son of Krasnoyarsk governor Us was kidnapped from Italy, where he was under house arrest, awaiting extradition to US, and they, like Russians, hired a Serbian gang to kidnap Us from Italy. And
Right.
there were similar occasions when they like hired like local criminals. And I think that my case, for instance, and few other cases of similar attacks were also like Russians, like Putin's people, hiring some local criminals. And this explains the nature of this attack. Of course, you cannot trust someone handling like poison or something like this. For this, you really need to send someone from Russia. And as of now, the opportunities for this kind of operations are a bit limited, but of course, they are planning new operations and there will be new attacks.
Right. Has security around you been reinforced since the attack because of such low-cost, quote unquote, attacks?
Well, that's actually also the aim of this attack. So to hire someone with a hammer costs probably several thousand euro, and then you have to spend much more than that to build like a full-scale security operation around yourself. And also this full-scale security operation, of course, undermines the efficiency of the work that we are doing. So we try to find like a careful balance between like meaningful security measures and being able to work as usual, because otherwise if like we apply maximum security measures like cut all the contacts to the outer world, then it means Putin achieves what he wanted to achieve, making us less efficient, less visible, less active.
Right. Have you thought leaving Lithuania for a country further away from Russia since the attack?
No, I don't think about this.
And obviously, you don't intend to keep a lower profile, maybe stop your public advocacy?
This is also not what I am ready to do. Contrary to that, I have to think about how to do more and how to be more efficient.
Right. Speaking more broadly, obviously, since the death of Alexei Navalny, his wife, Yulia, has been thrown into a kind of leadership role of the movement. Is she the right person to pursue Navalny's objectives, or is it a problem because she has said in the past that, well, she's not really someone who likes to be on the front line?
I don't like the wording of being thrown. She's not an object, she's a subject. That was her decision to take the public political role after her husband, Alexei Navalny, was murdered in Russian prison on February 16th. And our work, the Team Navalny work, is to support her. That's it. So we try to make her work as a public politician in this new role as efficient as possible. You've seen her first public steps addressing the European Parliament, meeting government officials all around Europe, the statements that she's doing. And I think these were very strong statements and very strong public appearances. And we are happy to help her, like building her public political profile. That's it.
Right. But it seems, at least in the West, many people start to think that Putin now has the upper hand. He has a fresh mandate in Russia. Alexei Navalny is dead. Ukraine fatigue is setting in Western countries. He seems to be comfortably in power, and the opponents are either dead or abroad or afraid.
Well, that's politics. Political life is very much like a pendulum. It has ups and downs and has political cycles. Indeed, many people could say that now Putin has an upper hand. He killed Alexei Navalny. He made it through this entirely fake election, and he even tried to sell the outcome of this fake election as a success. at least to some people in the West, unfortunately. But for us, political fight against Putin was always a marathon. We never thought that there is a quick solution and there is a way to just like defeat him with some magic silver bullet. And we were always ready to this marathon, and so is Julia, Alexei's wife, and so is the entire team that Alexei has built over the last years. We know that there are ups and downs, and yes, now Putin experiences something that we can consider a high moment. A low moment will follow, and we'll make sure to make every possible use of the next low moment. It will actually happen sooner than many think. For instance, I believe that now, after the election, Putin will have no choice but to run a new wave of mobilization in Russia, which will be a completely and enormously unpopular move, which will probably cause significant resistance within the country. And we will be there as the leading force of the Russian opposition to amplify this resistance.
Leonid Volkov, I want to thank you very much for appearing here on Tête-à-Tête and France 24 from Vilnius in Lithuania. And thank you all for watching this show.
Thank you.